Do you want to live alone but you feel like you might not be ready to be in a house alone? Or you might be living alone already and not really enjoying it? Well, let me help you tackle that issue real quick. Welcome back to my new series where I'm going to be giving you all my knowledge and experience of how to live an adult life. I know that this is something that everybody struggles with, but somehow the conversations that I've been hearing are not really valuable. I'm not really learning anything from people, and there are so many things that I experienced which nobody really prepared me for. So here are the points that I'm going to be covering today, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. I hope that you're going to learn something. I love talking about routine. I love routine. I'm a person of a routine. When I was younger, I completely just went with the flow. I didn't really care about any routine. Now, I live for it. I cannot live without a routine. I feel so good in my routine. And since I live alone, I can completely afford that for myself because nobody's in my business all the time. So having that uninterrupted time for myself that I can focus on things is so good. It's really crucial. And really you can use this time for anything you want to. You can literally start a new hustle, you can work on yourself, do self-development, self-care, learn about things, do a new project. Literally you can do anything. Also, when you have a routine and you created that routine, you have different steps that you want to follow every single day, every morning, every night, and that also requires you to have your space created by yourself and have that space built up by your own needs. When you experience that routine and having that place for yourself that you design, or it's your place completely. So creating that harmony in your life is super important, having that energy in your place. So really just decorating your place as you want is going to help you have that harmony and have that homey feeling to you, which might not make other people feel like they're home. So living alone, that really helps because it's really going to be yours and it's going to feel like it's yours. When you're designing, when you're decorating your place, please do use the space. We are here paying high rent, okay? So use that, use every corner of your home, okay? I have everything. I only have one corner in my flat that I don't use, and I'm trying to figure out what to use it for. But really, you should be using every single spot in your flat for something, okay? This will also make your money worth, but also you're going to really feel like home when there's an empty corner or there's a room that has only 2 furniture in it. Is not going to make you feel like home. One way to make your flat feel like home or be more homey is having plants. I love plants so much, so I have so many in my house. This is a bit struggling, so I'm still trying to get him back to life, but plants will make your flat look so much more homey. I think one thing that everybody struggles with is finding that routine to fit everything in, because when you come out of home or you come out of university, you start living alone and you realize how many things that you have to do when you're living alone, like paying rent, getting groceries, cooking, cleaning. If you have a car, dealing with that. If you're having any other thing that you own, dealing with the taxes there. Literally every single thing that is in your life or you're doing on a regular basis or you're doing in general that other people might take control sometimes, it all falls on you. Literally every single thing. And there are so many things that you don't know that are handled, and then when you're becoming an adult, it really just like slaps you in the face. I hate that nobody really put together anything for me to kind of hand it to me and be like, oh, by the way, this is the list that you need to kind of look out for. These are the things that you are going to have to handle every single day or every single month. Coming back to that routine aspect and things that you need to incorporate into your routine, which was probably handled by other people when you're living with other people, or it's probably shared. This is something for me that I like to do, but it's not necessarily something that I knew how long it's going to take or how often I need to do it, because when I was sharing a flat or I was living at home, I really didn't have to do too much. Like every week I have to do something small. It wasn't really time consuming, but when you're living alone, you have to do everything. But it's so beneficial. I highly recommend putting effort into this and scheduling time aside to put effort into this because it's really rewarding. When your place is clean, your mind is going to function much better and you're going to feel much better. When you're thinking about creating your routine, you also need to focus on what works best for you. I'm here talking to you, telling you what works best for me or what I know personally, but I want you to sit down and actually think about what works for you the most, because everybody is different. So I don't want you to think that you are going on social media and see all these posts that I wake up at 6 a.m. I have a healthy breakfast every single morning at 8 a.m. You don't need to do that. Do what works best for you. I'm just thinking about all those people who are working a night shift, waking up at 6 a.m. when you're just arrived home from work. These kind of things are not going to work. So you have to adapt to your life and your needs and what you want. So I don't want you to think that the healthy standard or what is healthy is defined by those things that you've seen on social media, okay? When you think about healthy habits or a routine that works for you, you sit down and write down those 3 components that you do every single day, and everything else is going to revolve around that. When you wake up, when you go to work, when you go to sleep. These are the 3 elements that are going to define every single other thing in your life. When you have time to work out, do you want to work out? What kind of workout are you going to be doing? How long of a workout are you doing? It's so many things that impact your routine. Do not do the things that everybody else does, please. So when you're thinking about all those 3 elements, please sit down and schedule everything. I think scheduling is the best thing ever. I love it. So every single Sunday, I sit down and plan the whole week. I sit down on my computer, I do that digitally, and then I have a planner as well. If you're someone who wants to work towards a better life and wants to better themselves, I suggest scheduling. Scheduling really changed my life and it makes me much more productive, and I absolutely love what I can do when I schedule everything ahead. I would suggest sitting down every Sunday, kind of thinking about the next week, what you want to do, and kind of trying to achieve small goals for your big year resolution. None of us should forget about that. So I want you to think about what you want to do. What are those kind of steps that you must do to achieve big year resolution goal? Think about when you want to wake up, when you want to go to bed, what you want to do during the day, when you want to go to work out, what you're gonna cook, when you will cook, and scheduling cleaning time as well, because that honestly is always going to be like, yeah, I'll do it, and then you never do it because you never have time for it, and you will only do it when it's like really bad. But if you do small bite-sized cleaning every single day, your place is always going to be clean and tidy, and when you're going to do a big cleanup, it's not going to be taking you hours, it will be just like half an hour and an hour. Also, having someone living with you or you living with someone, let it be your parents or your friends or your partner, their life and their routine will ultimately impact yours. And when you're living alone, this is completely avoided, and you can do whatever you want to do and what you want to accomplish during a day, and your life won't be impacted by other people's lives. So you really can think about the routine that you want to create for yourself and stick with it, because nobody's going to be at blame but you. So make sure you're going to follow through, because there's nobody else that you can blame but yourself. You need to set boundaries and you need to prioritize things. Nobody else is going to be at blame but you. This is my favorite part about living alone, how much I learned about myself, and I genuinely think this is why every single person should experience living alone, because the amount of things I learned about myself the past 2-3 months is insane. I moved away from my parents years ago, honestly, many years ago. But I just started living alone. I'm not sharing a flat with anyone. I'm not living with a partner. I'm living alone. And this is one of my biggest fears. The amount of things that I've learned about myself these past 3 months. Think about it, 3 months. Mind-blowing. The amount of time that you're blessed with to spend alone, and don't think about it as like, oh my god, I'm alone right now, like I don't have friends, nobody cares about me, like all the negative thoughts, just let it go, okay? It's not true. It's really not true. Think about it as you're blessed with this time that you can use for yourself that you might not be able to use any other time. So I want you to use that time, use it for your advantage, and learn about yourself. I get really passionate about this because I genuinely was one of those people who was just absolutely no, I'm not spending time alone, it's bullshit, I'm going to be very alone, I'm going to be bored, why is that good for me at all? Like, if I'm with other people, I'm socializing, I feel better. And genuinely living alone or spending time alone, being alone, really scared me. And now I'm on the other side of the coin where I'm just like, what was I afraid of? This is amazing. Like, honestly, it is amazing, and I want you to experience it too. I want you to have this breakthrough as well, because I think many people also promote that it's good to spend time alone. But if you're not a person who's afraid of being alone or being scared of abandonment, nobody, like, you're not going to believe them. So truly living alone, the biggest pro is that you're going to learn about yourself a lot. Peace is another thing, but living alone really truly will teach you who you are, what you desire, and what you're passionate. It will force you to come to a conclusion as to who am I, what do I want, what should I do, what are my habits. Like, literally it will teach you who you are to the core. And the hard part, I think, is that you're going to be learning things about yourself that you would normally not, and these things are usually quite hard. So learning about your traumas, learning about your feelings, how you deal with things, what are your toxic traits. And the best ways that you can learn about these things is by meditating and journaling. And I know everybody's telling you this, but it's really true. It's going to make you realize things that you wouldn't normally. I also started reading books that teach me things, and I have been really enjoying it. And another thing which you can also do when you're living with other people is going to therapy and kind of getting other people's help. However, when you're living alone, you're going to be given that space and time that you need after therapy sessions to kind of sit with your thoughts and figure out what's going on. Now let's focus on time alone versus time with other people. You have to have a good balance of both. You shouldn't be overdoing either of them. You're either a person who's going to overdo the self time, right? The time that you set apart for yourself and focus on yourself and do work for yourself and do all that. You can either be that person, or you're the other person who is trying to cover up this emptiness, this loneliness that you might feel when you're living alone. We are not doing any of that, okay? It's 2024. We are not doing any of the obsessive things, okay? We are going to have a good balance of both. We are going to have a good balance of spending time alone and also socializing with other people. But we are going to do it on our terms. I don't want any of you going around and the first phone call from your friend, you answer it, "Hi, I'm heading out for shopping, would you like to come?" Even though you are having plans with yourself, you say yes. That is a no. Just because you don't have plans with other people, that doesn't mean you don't have plans with yourself, okay? Treat time that you're spending with yourself as you're scheduling it with another person, as you're meeting with another person and spending time with another person. Just say you cannot make it, you have plans. You don't have to give away anything. But also, I think this is the year that people should really accept when you say, "Oh no, I'm spending time with myself." They should accept that. That should be something that you understand. I got you, girl. This is something that I think everybody has to rewire their mind around and accept it, because it's really important. The girls who get it, they will get it, and those are the people that you want to make friends with. And since we are on this topic, please don't waste your time with the wrong people. If you're going to spend time with other people, be selective, okay? Let's try to get those people into your life and stick with those people who are going to be good for you, who align with you, who align with your future plans and your routine and your mentality, everything, because those are going to be the people who are going to get you understand what it means when you're spending time alone. They will understand and they will help you achieve your goals, and it's really important to have those people. But when you're spending time alone and when you're living alone and you're spending so much time just in your flat doing stuff, but still, face it, you will be alone majority of the time. It is hard, okay? I am not going to say that it's not, because it is, and whoever says it's not, I don't know how you grew up, but I have definitely not expected it to be this hard, and it is hard. It's super hard, especially at the beginning. It's very uncomfortable, incredibly uncomfortable. I did not like any day at the beginning. I hated it. It was really hard for me to grasp the concept in between being lonely, feeling lonely, being alone, not thinking that my friends and family don't want to see me or they're not interested in me just because I'm alone. Most of the times it was hard because it's just unusual. I was very much around people all the time, so coming from that into this where it's like tiny bit like isolated, but it's not the good word, because I genuinely think that it's one of the best things, and I think I was put in this situation at this time because I had to. I needed to go through and I needed to learn things about myself that I didn't know before and will probably help me in the future. My advice on this: if you're put in a situation or you choose to live alone, go through it. Feel the feelings that you feel, okay? Go and don't distract yourself. Don't go around meeting other people when you're supposed to be at home alone. Don't just try to distract yourself constantly. Meet people, socialize, get out of the house, be with other people, but do not do it to distract yourself. If you do it for distraction, you are going to prolong that process of you getting comfortable with the feeling of being alone or spend time with yourself. If you want to get over this feeling, because you're not going to feel alone and lonely all the time, I'm telling you this, okay? This is the good part. This is just the first period when it's something new, it's changed, it's weird, you don't feel comfortable. But I would say the first month is the hardest. After that, the enjoyment you are getting, it's not that you're going to get used to it, it's not that. You're enjoying it. You're like, thank God I live alone. I don't have to deal with this and I don't have to deal with that. And it's so amazing that I can go home and be at peace and I can do my things that make me happy and recharge me on a daily basis. It's so, so good. And you're going to be so happy about this. I think Angelina Jolie said it in one of her interviews that when she goes through something bad or sad, she sits with the feeling, feel it, and then go right through it. And that is such a good advice, because the moment that you feel a bit of a sadness and you try to make yourself happy, you're not really dealing with the feeling, you're just covering it up. And I think this is an important part about living alone, because you're actually going to take care of yourself and you will realize that the feelings, the negative feelings that you're feeling, and even the positive ones, you will have to feel it completely. Like, feel it as it is and experience it, because this is the most beautiful part about being a human being, that we can have so many different experiences and so many different feelings. And if we are trying to just cover it up with something that might feel better in the moment, we are missing out on so many different experiences and so many learning opportunities. So please make sure that you're not distracting yourself when you're living alone, but actually feel it. You're sad, feel that sadness, sob, sit on the couch, be sad, and the next day get up and pick yourself up. This is one of the hardest parts, because you will have to do it for yourself. Nobody's going to be there dragging you out of the bed in the morning saying that we are going to the gym, we are doing this, we are doing that. No, it's you, but guess what? It's been you all the time. And once you feel the feeling, you're not going to be having mood swings. You literally felt the negative feeling and then you get over it and then you're not going back. But I also want to say that a social element to go and meet with your friends and socialize, even meet new people, is very, very important. And you should not be spending every single week only at home alone or going out alone and doing everything alone. You should be socializing, you should be seeing other people and meeting other people, but make sure that it aligns with you and it's on your terms as well. It's not just on their terms. Don't be a yes person anymore. And I also want to say that reaching out to people and initiating a meetup is totally okay. I am tired of people saying it to me that they didn't want to reach out to me because they might feel like they bother me or I don't reply or anything like that. I am slow with replying. That's true, I admit it. However, it's very, very okay to reach out to other people. I had this issue as well. I never really liked to reach out to people because I had these thoughts of, well, if they don't reach out to me, why should I? Or I don't want to bother them because they might be busy with other things. So I I never reached out, and then I started to having all these negative feelings that they might not want to be my friends anymore, or we just drifted apart. They never make initiations, only me. So I had all these negative thoughts, and it really just poisoned my thought process of like how I think about my friends or how I look at our friendship. And it's totally wrong, because probably the other person doesn't reach out to you because they have the same exact feelings. So be that person who's going to reach out to your friends. Obviously have that sense of how many times did I reach out, how many times did they reach out. If they never reach out to you, have a conversation. It might not be because they don't like you, it might just be like they are not that kind of person, and it's totally okay. You can be that person if they also want to be your friends. But when you're spending time alone, make sure that you're using it to your advantage and get to know yourself again. Because I genuinely think that the person who I was when I was a kid and a teenager really is different from who I am now and who I am going to become. As an adult, you're a completely different person, and maybe you're going to face those questions and those uncomfortable things that you're going to go through. You might have these questions like, I'm not really happy right now, I'm not really vibing with the friends that I have, I'm not vibing with what I'm doing, I don't like my hobbies, I don't have any hobbies, or any kind of questions that you might have. That is a sign that the things that you've been doing as a child or as a teenager is not aligning anymore with you. So make sure that you are going to try to get to know yourself again and relearn who you are or what you like and what are your passions and your work, because you're going to be able to use this to your advantage and even make a project or a side hustle out of it and make yourself feel much better and feel like you're grounded, feel like you have a place here. Because it's horrible when you think that nothing really aligns with you and you're not in a good place. So this time when you're alone, you can really focus on actually getting to know you and actually finding your passion and what you like as an adult. So in order to relearn who you are and what you like and all these kind of things, you really need to actively spend time alone. Make sure that you're in your thoughts and you're actively, like, proactively do things for yourself and with yourself with the intention of learning about yourself. So I challenge you to go on solo dates. I know it is super scary, it's really scary for me as well, but this is one of my goals this year, to go to a restaurant alone. I know it is scary as hell, but I really want to try to just sit there alone and have a meal, but I'm not ready yet. So I want you to think about solo dates that you would be comfortable doing. Think about things that are not a chore, because you can say that, oh, I cook every day. That's a solo date, isn't it? No, it's not, okay? You do those things because you have to. That's your daily task, to cook, to do the dishes, but it can be a solo date, okay? That can be something, because if you're purposely going to the kitchen to spend time with yourself and enjoy and craft something really nice, that is a solo date. If you go to the kitchen and you want to make yourself a meal and you pay attention to what you're doing, what flavors you like, what kind of vegetables or meat you like or spices you like or don't like, that is something that you can take away from that experience. If there's something to learn from the experience, yes. But if you're just going to the kitchen, quickly whipping up something, it's not gonna work. That's not something that we can count as a solo date. But let me give you some tips as to what kind of solo dates I've been doing and what I want to do in the future as well. I broke this down into two categories. One of them is indoor, one of them is outdoor, because let's just face it, I live in the UK. Not every single date is going to happen outdoors. So I have to make sure that I have the indoor option as well, because, well, if I would only create the outdoor list for solo date, I would definitely not be dating myself. So some of my favorite ones is reading or journaling. These are things that you can do and it's very simple, you can do it basically anywhere and you learn a lot about yourself. I also love meditating. I do that at night. I love going to sleep after I meditate. The way I sleep after that is just next level. I also love baking, so I put baking on my list as well. That is something that I'm going to be doing on Valentine's Day too. A good movie night or a self-care night is something that will nurture you. I think self-care nights should be something that you do every weekend. I think that's something that kind of helps me to keep up with myself, take care of myself, and not just outside. Like obviously there's lots of things that you can do, like the everything shower, doing your hair, doing everything, like, you know, the overall maintenance of your look, right? But I think it's important to think about your inner mental situation as well. So it can be something very simple. You can go on Pinterest and search up some prompts that you can ask yourself and then answer them. That's definitely something that helped me kind of be more present on my self-care days and not just think about like, oh, is my skin pretty now? And then the outdoor ones, well, these are very interesting because I based this on my location, and as you can see right now the picture is very bright. A couple minutes ago it was really dark. The weather changes, okay? It's very unexpected what will happen. The weather forecast here will not give you an accurate representation as to what's going to happen. So I have a couple of ideas. So one of them is take a walk. There's a favorite park of mine that I love to go to, and it's such a beautiful place. It immediately calms me down when I go there, so I love going for walks there. I tend to go on a weekly basis, but it depends. Then we cannot forget a good museum date. This is a very new thing to me. I only discovered this a couple of weeks ago, that in the city I live in, they do sound bath sessions, and I was really interested in it, so I booked myself one. I'm really curious as to how it's going to happen and what's going to happen actually at the session, because I've never been to one. So try to look for different things that you can do in your city. I'm sure there's so many classes or so many activities that you can do. My gym where I go to, they have different classes, spin and yoga and Pilates and so many different classes. So you can literally just join those ones and it's going to make such a difference. And please don't wait for others. Please, 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 please. Because this is how you're going to waste so much time of your own and you're going to end up with no new experiences. So do not wait for others. You're an adult. And adult life is, unfortunately, works like this, is very, very busy, and very few people can have the same kind of schedule and structure of their life. So it's really hard to kind of make it to the same class, do the same things, have the same interest. So don't wait for them and just start doing it. The right people will tag along and they will join you if they wanted to. If not, you will still do it and you're going to be richer with these experiences. And also all these experiences that you want to try out and you want to do, and all these times that you want to spend alone or you will have to spend alone, don't necessarily have to be so like mental health focused or therapeutical. It can also just be like you're focusing on your own stuff. You're working towards something. You're putting that time into doing different kind of projects or passions that you want to work out and hopefully will flourish. So you can use this time to focus on that as well. You don't have to constantly read or constantly journal, constantly do things that are going to be focusing on your own, like your inner happiness. It can also be just fueling energy into a hobby that you will actually like and you do actually like. You want it to be part of your life. You can put energy into that and take that energy out of those things that you don't necessarily like to do anymore, or people that you don't necessarily align yourself with anymore. So this is definitely a great opportunity for you to stop lazying about, stop coming up with excuses, and this way you won't be interrupted and you can focus on something that you can make money out of. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you learned something and you liked it. Let me know what is going to be your next solo date and let's exchange some information about this, because I'm very interested in what other solo date ideas you guys have. I'll see you next time.
I wonder who made you so